Hey everyone, it's Chris from CJ's Pianos, the area's high loon dealer. So I wanted to take a minute or so to show a little trick to see, how nice of a tuning you really have. It's something that I recently learned at a professional convention where I sat in on several of the tuning exams, and they called it the inverted chord of nature. There are several nice things about it. It also, I suppose you could call it the 7 steps to heaven here, because it's 7 notes, and it's really for checking to see just how perfect the higher notes are, at least in particular. Now, I haven't tuned this piano in several months. So this will be a testament to show just how well this one stays in tune. This is the High Loon HG178. It's their 5'10" grand piano. There's 2 pianos that they make that are a little bit longer, 2 that are a little bit smaller. They all have these safety features where like the fall board is a slow close. You don't have to worry about smashing your fingers. This here, the lid, so easy. It just kind of glides down. You don't have to worry about any safety issues there. And what piano can you lift from the front and not hurt your back? So that's a really nice feature. Anyway, so this inverted chord of nature. I've still got some felt on me from working on hammers earlier. All right, here we go. So you can take it and you build it up by checking. Let's see, we'll start on A flat or G sharp here, and you got a minor third above that, minor third, major third, okay, and then perfect fourth, perfect fifth, and the octave. So that note is beautifully tuned still, even after several months. I can move it up a little bit here and so the reason it's the inverted chord is because when you build the overtone series, you have, I'll work my way from the top, but usually you would work your way from the bottom here, and you'd have, the fundamental, the octave, fifth, okay, and then you've got your fourth, which is the double octave, okay, and so then you can have your major third, minor third, minor third, okay. Now those are spread out a little bit further than that, but all of the notes are there. So when we build it this way, it's inverting it. So you've got the top note, you've got your octave, a fifth, fourth, major third, minor third, minor third. So. Really shows a lot of the purity within the harmonic structure. So, just a little tip. If you want to check to see if your piano is still in tune, by using this method, you probably find, it's been rather humid, so you probably find that this top note, when you get to it, sounds flat, and it's most likely because this section right in here has gone sharp, as the humidity has been rather high. When the humidity drops, this section tends to fluctuate to be a little bit flat. In this section over here, the soundboard's a little bit more stiff. There's not as much of it that the strings are strung across, so it doesn't move as much. The bass section, the bridge is closer to the rim, so as the soundboard, I guess as the wood cells take on moisture, they get a little bit bigger, and so that creates a larger arch. But since these are closer to the rim, the arch isn't as effective there. Whereas this section here, we really bring that out. It's basically in the middle of the widest part of the soundboard, and so that's why you notice the most change right in the middle. It's not because you're playing more there, although that doesn't this part of the piano is going to go out of tune whether you're playing it or not because the humidity changes. And so, to mitigate that, we do have climate control systems that, if you're interested, I do sell those and I install them. There's a 5-year warranty on those, and it helps to extend the life of the piano. All your action parts, are moisture prone. When the humidity changes, sometimes the hammers will, twist to the side a little bit, or the screws start working themselves loose. And then, it also helps to keep the tuning relatively stable. If you have like a tropical depression move through, there's going to be some pitch change in the upward motion, but it's not going to be as much when you consider how much it would have been without the climate control. And I guess another way you can check your tunings, a triple octave ought to sound, pure. And so far this still does. One of the other things is with, I don't know if you can really see this on the video. Let me check here. Yeah, there we go. So if you look, this is the soundboard from the Hyloon. There's a protective layer here. They do both sides. It is a solid spruce board, but because of this protective layer on the outsides, it isn't as affected as dramatically as some other pianos might be, because this helps to create a non-permeable layer and keeps the moisture out, even without the climate control system. That's the biggest reason why I don't have to tune this piano as often as some others that are in the shop, because the shop here, it's a workshop. It's not necessarily climate controlled the way your home might be. There's an air conditioning system, but I'm not here most of the time. I'm at your house or at a school or a church tuning pianos. So these pianos, they're not as maintained for tuning with the humidity as your piano might be. That being said, it never gets excessively hot in here. The humidity doesn't rise and fall dramatically. But if you're running your home's HVAC system, your piano is going to stay in tune even better than most pianos in a showroom, just because it's a larger space. See, in churches and schools struggle with humidity fluctuations because it's a larger space. It's harder to control those humidity ups and downs. So the last video I did on tuning showed how much heat changes. This is a little explanation of the humidity, and I hope you've enjoyed it.